A couple of months ago, I watched a video of Kamala Harris laughing at the thought of jailing parents and criminalizing them and prosecuting them for children that miss too much school. And of course, this would impact a lot of Black families in California. And she took this approach that really seemed mean spirited and uncaring to the fact that she was once again separating families. And remember, this is the same person that did not want to let many of our jailed Black men out of jail for petty ass weed charges because the prison labor had to be done. And see, ladies and gentlemen, that is the reason why Black people are so heavily targeted today. You're not no big criminal. You're not doing all the most crimes and all that nonsense they be talking. And you can go back in history to see exactly when all this criminal talk on Black people started. It started the moment everybody stepped off of the plantation. That's when you automatically went from being a slave to a criminal. Okay, that's how it all happened. But ladies and gentlemen, all of a sudden, Kamala Harris is expressing regret over California truancy law. Really? Think it might have something to do with she's running for president. If she wasn't running for president, I don't think we would hear any of these things from her at all. So she recently did an interview expressing regret for championing a truancy law in California. So during her time as Attorney General, threatening parents with prosecution if their children miss too much school. So she recently did a Pod Save America interview that aired on Tuesday. And she claims that the law never was, she never intended to criminalize parents. She described the law as one with unintended consequences. I regret that has happened, and thought that anything I did could have led to that, Harris said, who added that her office never sent a parent to jail for truancy crimes during her tenure as San Francisco's district attorney. Yeah, but you sat there laughing about it like, it was just a thing to do. So what if the parents are in trouble? So what if, the parents become criminals when their children don't show up for school? And by the way, Kamala, education in America is lousy as hell. It's really bad. It's bad. So I'm going to play part of her interview so that you can hear what she said. Let's see if I can get this to play.
When you were DA, you looked at high school dropout rates, and you started sort of a truancy program to sort of reduce high school dropout rates.
Yeah.
Then when you were Attorney General, you supported, you were champion of a 2011 law, the truancy law. That law, made it a crime for parents who let their kids miss school too many days in a row. As a result, some parents were arrested for that because of that law. A couple went to jail.
In other jurisdictions.
Not under
this
is when you were Attorney General.
Yeah,
right.
I had no control over that.
Well, so I guess the question is, would you support that kind of law, the California law, as president?
No,
okay.
I would not.
So what went wrong with that versus what you did as DA?
Absolutely. Unintended consequences, to be frank. When I was DA, we never sent a parent to jail. The whole point to your introduction of the issue was that I took a look at and did an analysis of who our homicide victims were who were under the age of 25. And I learned that over 90% were high school dropouts.
Yeah.
When I went to the school district, I learned that up to 40% of the chronically and habitually truant students were elementary school students, missing 50, 60, up to 80 days of a 180-day school year. And when I looked closer, I realized that the system was failing these kids, not putting the services in place to keep them in school, to make it easier for their parents to do what those parents naturally wanted to do around parenting their children. And so I put a spotlight on it. And as a result of doing that, we ended up increasing attendance by over 30% because we actually required the system then to kick in and do the services that they were required to do and sometimes had available, but they weren't doing the outreach with these parents. And so that was the whole purpose. The purpose was understanding the significance of third grade reading level. If by the end of third grade, a child is not at third grade reading level, they literally drop off.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and why? Because before third grade, they're learning how to read, then comprehension kicks in and they're reading to learn. If they've not learned how to read, they can't read to learn, and then they fail. And my concern was, if we don't take seriously the need that we as a society should have to ensure that our children are receiving the benefit of an education, we will pay the price later, and those kids will pay the price, which is that they'll end up in the criminal justice system. And that's what I wanted to avoid. I wanted to avoid a situation where those children end up being criminalized, some for their entire lifetime, because we failed them in the earliest stages. And so part of what we wanted to do and what we did successfully, when I looked into this issue, John, I realized that there was no distinction in the education code between truancy, meaning 3 or 4 unexcused absences, and what we were seeing, which is kids missing as much as 80 days of a 180-day school year. So we changed the law to say, no, we need to understand, like, if you think of it as in phases, as, yellow light, red light situation is the chronic truancy. And we actually got it in the education code. So now it says chronic truancy, 10% or more of the school year missed, because we had to understand institutionally that this is a red light warning. And we're failing these kids if we're not paying attention to the fact that there are kids who are chronically truant and what that will mean for their lives, or just our failure as a system to let them achieve their capacity.
So do you think that the 2011 law shouldn't have allowed some of these DAs to arrest
because
parents?
My regret is that I have now heard stories that where in some jurisdictions, DAs have criminalized the parents.
Right.
And I regret that has happened, and that the thought that anything that I did could have led to that, because that certainly was not the intention. Never was the intention. Never was the intention.
She's full of crap. Y'all, if that was not the intention, then nothing like that should have been put in place in the first place. I don't believe Kamala. I really don't. I think it's convenient to say this now when you got yourself positioned to run as president. How do you be the state attorney general and you not know that parents were arrested as a result of you going along with a law to criminalize them? But now in 2019, you're just finding out that parents were arrested and criminalized in the system that you were the state attorney general over? Kamala's full of crap, y'all. But please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And this is the reason why no one, among others, especially when it comes down to reparations, that Kamala does not deserve the vote of the Black community. Her career as Attorney General has been nothing but a system in place to continue to hurt the Black community. And for that, we should never forgive her. Peace, family.